Hello everyone, this is Katie Colleen here. Welcome back Colleen Clan, or if you are new, then come join the family. Today I'll be showing you how I made Wonder Woman's tiara and bracers using Worbla and EVA foam. The outfit that I will be referencing for this project is Wonder Woman's design from the animated Justice League movie, Justice League War. Let's get into it, starting with the bracers. So the first thing I'm going to need is a pattern. I'm using the good old saran wrap and masking tape method for this. I'm wrapping my forearm in saran wrap and then in masking tape, and I am drawing out the design for the bracer. Then I will carefully free my forearm from its masking tape prison, and we have a bracer to work with. Now I'm going to pull out my EVA foam. You want to make sure your foam is not too thick because this does need to still be able to bend around your forearm. Also make sure that you add some seam allowance to your foam. Foam has more thickness than saran wrap, so you need to account for that as well. I'm adding about like ½ an inch on the edges just to make sure I have enough space. And of course, just give this a quick fit test to make sure it still fits on your forearm. Once we have cut out both of our bracers in the EVA foam, then we can start sanding them. For this, I will be using a Dremel tool. Make sure you're using this in a well-ventilated area and that you have proper protective equipment. You do not want to hail all these tiny little foam pieces. So I will be sanding down all the edges with a sanding bit. And then there is a small detail I want to add into these bracers. It looks like there's a little engraved line at the bottom here. So I'll be switching from my sanding bit to a drill bit, and I'm just gonna very carefully kind of etch that line into our EVA foam. After all the sanding is done, we can start heat shaping. So I'm taking a heat gun and I am blasting our EVA foam bracers with this heat gun. This really smooths out the texture on the foam. So after getting the foam warmed up, I'm just going to form it around my forearm and hold it to that shape. And as it cools, it will remain in that shape that you hold it in. Just be careful it's not too hot, don't want to burn yourself. With our bracers in more of a forearm shape, we can now get to painting. I'm using Mod Podge as a priming layer. And after that primer has dried, I'm going to use an acrylic paint, a nice metallic paint to give it a little bit of that metal sheen. I also want to go in with a little bit of a darker color to kind of bring out that etched in detail, make it more prominent, give this a bit more of a weathered look. And when I'm all done painting, I will go over everything with another layer of Mod Podge as a sealer. Now let's talk forearm attachments. My personal favorite way to attach forearm bracers is a zipper. This is just so simple and easy. So I'm taking a non-separating zipper and I am just hot gluing it to the edges of our forearm bracers. It is truly that simple. Just make sure you don't get any hot glue in the zipper teeth and you are good to go. Just glue that in. Make sure that the non-separating part of the zipper is at the top of your bracer so that you have space to get your hand in. It's very important that the part that doesn't separate is at the forearm and not the wrist. So with our bracers done, let's move on to our tiara. The tiara is going to be a lot of the same. I'm still using the saran wrap and masking tape method to pattern this. I just wrapped the saran wrap around my forehead and masking taped that. You gotta be careful you don't get your hair in the masking tape. And I'm going to draw out a pattern. Now for this tiara, I'm only going to pattern out about the front half of it. This tiara is well hidden underneath hair, and I will have a wig, so this is going to be worn underneath a wig. I only need to pattern the front half of it. Very carefully cut this off so as to not cut my hair in the process, and we have our tiara pattern. Now this tiara needs to be really durable, but it also needs to be really thin. I don't want it to be as thick as the bracers we made, so this calls for some different materials. So I'm going to use a really thin 2mm craft foam for cutting out our tiara pattern. Again, I only need to cut out the front half of the tiara since this will be under a wig. So out of the same 2mm craft foam, I am cutting out a little star. I'm going to glue our little star onto our tiara. This doesn't have to be a particularly strong adhesive since we will be covering the whole tiara with another material. Now I am going to pull out some Worbla. This is a thermoplastic material, so that means this material will get really soft and malleable once heat is applied, but it's also really strong when it then cools down. So I am tracing out my tiara on the Worbla, and I'm gonna add a little bit of seam allowance here too, so that I can fold the Worbla over the edges of our tiara, and we have nice seams on the sides. So I'm laying our Worbla tiara over our craft foam tiara. I'm taking out my heat gun again, and I'm applying heat to that Worbla, and then just very carefully folding our seam allowance over the edges of our foam tiara. After the foam has been encased in Worbla and everything is looking nice and smooth, I can then apply a little bit more heat and I can form this to the shape of my forehead, just carefully bending it to apply curvature. As I am forming this Worbla, I'm also going to take care to press the Worbla around our raised star detail. Worbla does a great job of forming around these raised details. Next, we can prime and paint our tiara, and I'm using the same exact methods I used for the bracers, priming with Mod Podge, painting with acrylic paint, and then applying a nice glossy sealer over it. As far as attachment goes for the tiara, with a lot of these sort of forehead pieces, I have been able to get them to stick just by shoving them underneath the wig. Generally, the pressure of the wig will hold them in place, but for a little bit of added security, I hot glued an elastic strap to the back of the tiara, making this a true headband that would stay on my forehead even without the wig holding it in place. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about styling the wig. So I got a lace front wig from Epic Cosplay Wigs to style, and I styled it into Wonder Woman's ponytail moment that she has going on for this outfit. This really just involved a whole lot of teasing. I really wanted to make the ponytail as voluminous as it looked in the show, at least as much as possible. So I'm bringing it into a low pony and then teasing the life out of this wig. And with that, we have this Wonder Woman cosplay. I put together a little bit of a closet cosplay for the rest of the look so I could share this tutorial with you guys without having the full cosplay. Confession time, I actually recorded this a year ago. So I made this particular Wonder Woman look, the closet cosplay look you're seeing in this video, for a collab with a company called Micromark. They provided the foam and the Worbla. They were fantastic to work with. I would love to work with more cosplay supply companies in the future. The thing with these brand collabs is you don't have a lot of turnaround time. So they were gonna send me the materials, but I had to have something finished within like a month. So I had a big brain idea. I was going to make just the tiara and bracers for Wonder Woman and do a closet cosplay for the brand collab. And then after that was all done, in my own time afterwards, I would finish the whole Wonder Woman cosplay and I would post it on YouTube. I actually did make a mock-up of the outfit. I cut out a lining layer, I sewed that lining layer together, and that is the state of the cosplay a year later. This was unfortunately just one of the projects that I just couldn't pick up. I just shelved it and never came back. And I think a lot of cosplayers out there can relate. We all have unfinished cos plans just in our craft rooms haunting us every day. So that's the story. I do not plan on finishing the full cosplay. I just wanted to share what I did complete. Here it is. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!